almost wore camo here.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
That's not cowboy.
I'm afraid it is, but after 10 years working in the steel mill, half of which was in the melt shop, you know, I could drink coffee about any time.
When I worked in the quarries, I burned coffee all day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So hot and sweat.
Yeah.
Sweat.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you.
Hey, come on in.
Carol. I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. We were together the other day. I'm texting me just a thought. We'll give it that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because
We had good.
Okay, it's 3 o'clock. The state government meeting will come to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Sells.
Here.
Representative Bedsole. Dr. Boyd. Representative Butler. Representative Chestnut. Representative Keel. Representative Kirkland. Representative Lands. Representative Lawrence. Representative Paramore. Representative Shaw. Representative Stahagen. Representative Wood. Representative Yarborough.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. We have a quorum. We will now conduct business. First off, I'd like to apologize for the temperature of this room. As you can see, I'm trying to deal with it best I can. We need to do something. Okay, our first bill will be Senator Albritton, SB 174.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for having me up here. SB 174 is a bill, and you've got the bill. I'll tell you what the intent is here. We have in the bay and holes drilled down that in which we went down and extracted oil and gas and such, and many of those now have been depleted and they have been capped off. All that's been done under the guide of the Oil and Gas Board. That's what it was leased for, state-owned property. What this bill is attempting to do is allow those holes in the earth to become useful again for the benefit of the state, so that an entity can come in, open up that hole in the ground, and insert water and extract water, steam, and other products for power generation. It doesn't drill any further. It doesn't change the infrastructure. This bill also places the oversight of these actions under the Oil and Gas Board. It also allows for the DNCR and the state to lease these sites to the entity for a fee. So it's very similar to oil and gas extraction, only it's not extracting anything other than what they put in. It's capturing the heat of the earth and pulling that out, the steam and the hot brine and hot water for production of energy. That's all we do. I would entertain questions.
They will still have to go through the ADM permitting process, correct?
Certainly, it would have to go through the same process as through the Oil and Gas Board as they did, as far as they don't have to, they're not going to be doing drilling. It's not going to be making anything new.
Right.
But the operations will be under the governance of that.
Okay. Any questions, any comments by the committee? You just ready to get out of here, Randy? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, sir? Thank you. Bill passes.
Thank you. Okay, next up is SB200 Senator Givhan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Looks like I'm camping out in your committee a lot this year.
Glad to have you.
Well, thank you. So SB 39 is basically a continuation of what we did before. And I wish I thought of it earlier. I talked to Anthony about it today. I probably will ask a member of the House to probably combine all my goals into one bill, so you don't want to have but one on the floor. But this one just simply deals with reapportionment and how those appointments are made. And we'd be changing it to the pro tem, just like the Speaker appoints the House members. We would ask that the pro tem appoint the Senate members.
Okay, do we have any questions or any comments by the committee? We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, sir, thank you. Bill passes. I think you have SB 40.
So SB 40, right now, and I'm not on the contract review committee, but right now the contract review committee is limited in what they can do. They can approve a bill, or not a bill, a contract, or they can delay it for 45 days. What my bill would do would be allowing contract review to continue to do either one of those, but they can, but they would have a third option, which would be to recommend the governor not sign it. Can't tell the governor under separation of powers not to sign it, but we can make the legislature the representatives that we put forth to represent the legislature on that committee can recommend that it not be signed. And I think that's something that is, can let us have more of a fingerprint on what happens.
Yes, sir. Okay, any questions? Yes.
Yes.
Representative Dr. Boyd?
Oh, I want you to make me understand what you're saying. I didn't hear you say the third option was to make the governor. I didn't hear that.
Oh, we cannot do that. That would be in violation of the separation of powers.
Well, that's what I thought I heard. The next thing is explain to me a little bit slower.
Okay.
All right, what the previous two choices were and what advantages will you have by changing it even? What's wrong now with it?
So right now, the legislature can approve it, and if they approve it, then it's approved, and the governor would just sign it in the matter of course, normal order of course. The legislature can delay it 45 days, but that's just a delay. And at the 45 days, they can't make any expression other than, well, we've delayed it 45 days. And sometimes, as we've all seen in the press, the 45 delay may have nothing to do with the actual merits of the contract. It may be something totally unrelated. This would allow an option of saying, Governor, we don't think you should sign this. And then if the governor chooses to sign it, they own it.
All right, one other question. Maybe I need to know the literal definition as opposed to English of it's just a delay. We can do a lot of things, I know, in here in a delay in 2 days or in 1 week that will never be known to the general public. I'm just thinking about a hidden agenda, sir, and maybe I'm way off base. But.
So right now on, if you look at the current law reads on line 74, the committee may hold a contract considered at a meeting for up to 45 days following the meeting to review and comment on the contract. So that's current law. Mm-hmm. And that would not change by what I'm doing.
At all?
No, ma'am.
Until another representative come in or somebody who want to do what you're doing.
Well,
I hear you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sir, thank you. That bill passes. Now let's go to SB 206.
Thank you. So what this is the legislative council bill that Representative Pringle and I do each year, and this is just codifying what we did, putting it in the code book, and cleaning up the errors.
Yes, sir. Do we have a motion? Okay, we have a second. All in favor say aye. Okay, sir, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bill passes. Next up, SB 200, Senator Smitherman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee. SB 200 is a bill that's, I have the Senate bill, and Representative Laura Hall has the House companion bill. And the purpose of the bill is, number one, to rename the Office of Minority Affairs to the Office of Civic Engagement, and with the intent that it would allow them to broaden their activity with really make it very simple.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We've already passed Ms. Hall's bill, if I
Okay.
may.
Yeah. I move.
Okay. Okay. Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Okay, sir. Thank you. Bill passes.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move down to HB 169. Representative Kale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity here. This bill very simply restructures the composition of the Board of Trustees of the Department of Archives and History. Does not change the number of boards, just changes the way they are appointed. The governor will get 8 appointees, the speaker 8, and the pro tem 8.
I've got the codification bill that Givhan just passed.
You got the same bill?
Yes. This is
Okay, you don't have to
codification.
be here. You can go. I'll take care of it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead. Okay, we're going to go into a public hearing now. Clerk, please call the first. Yes. Okay, you're going to have 2 minutes each. 3.
Marty Olive. Nope. Yes, Marty Olive. Olaf. Sorry.
Not a problem. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. Mr. Paramore, I didn't realize you were on this committee. My name is Marty Olaf. I'm a resident of Dothan and serve as Vice President of the Friends of the Alabama Archives. As you know, it's a private nonprofit organization that supports the Alabama Archives and has done so since 1981. During the 2025 legislative session, Representative Keel remarked that this bill under consideration would align the archives with the governance model used at the state's other flagship history museums, including Space and Rocket Center and USS Alabama. In reality, this bill creates a board that's very different than those at the Rocket Center and the Battleship. It spreads appointments across the executive and the legislative branches. No state agency with a historical and cultural mission currently is structured this way. However, this idea that Mr. Keel introduced is a very reasonable one, that like entities should be governed in a like fashion. The Archives has embraced this, as has the Friends. Just last year, the House and Senate unanimously passed House Bill 159, which updated the board composition of the State and Rocket Center. It reduced the board terms, it imposed term limits, and it affirmed the appointment by members of the governor. Appointment of members by the governor. In an earnest effort to work with legislators on a compromise, the Archives and its Friends organization have proposed an alternative approach that would apply the Space and Rocket Center organization to the Archives board. Please take the same reasonable approach for the Archives that you have taken with the Space and Rocket Center, and thank you for this opportunity.
Sir, thank you.
Wanda Battle.
Yes, ma'am. Your time's right here, so you can adjust your. Can you see this?
Yes, I
Okay,
can.
perfect. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. My name is Wanda Howard Battle. I'm a resident of Montgomery and, like Dr. Olive, serve on the board of the Friends of the Alabama Archives. I'd like to address a specific provision in House Bill 169 that contains just a few words but has tremendous consequences. Lines 165 and 166 says that this act shall be retroactive to January 1st, 2025. The effect of this language is to revoke the membership of 2 current board members who were reappointed to the board under existing law in the late 2024 for new terms, beginning in January 2025. The 2 members are Judge Dolores Boyd, currently the chair of the board, and Dr. Magdala Hamilton, both highly qualified African-American women who were previously confirmed by the Senate in 2019 and 2021. We do not know why the author of this bill in the Senate seeks to remove these members from the Archives Board, but I can tell you how it will be received by the African American community in Alabama. The Archives was founded in 1901. For many decades, it served the citizens of our state in a discriminatory way, choosing not to preserve and share the history of Black Alabamians who consequently felt unwelcome in this important institution. That changed starting in the 1980s, but it has been a long, long process to build trust in a community that had good reasons to distrust the agency. With support from the legislature, the Archives built a beautiful state museum that tells the story of all of us together. And it invested in digitization programs and K-12 programs that make history accessible to all people over the state.
Hey, ma'am.
Steve Murray.
Thank you for your comments.
Steve Murray.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. My comments are brief and merely to reiterate that the Archives has been earnestly working with leadership and members on both sides of the aisle to find a good compromise on this legislation. Our aim is to address the sponsors' concerns while also keeping the Archives Board in the mainstream of other historical and cultural agencies in the state of Alabama. And we've proposed a very sound alternative to this bill. We're committed to continue working and want to address any questions or concerns that you may have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your comments. Representative McHale?
That's all I have.
Okay, we have an amendment.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to offer an amendment to this bill, please.
Representative Paramore?
All right, replace lines 124 through 130 on page 5 with the following. All appointments made by the governor shall be subject to consideration by the Senate Committee on Confirmations as the committee deems necessary. An appointee shall continue to serve his or her term from the date of appointment unless and until the Senate Committee on Confirmations elects to consider the appointment and subsequently rejects the appointment. If the Senate Committee on Confirmation rejects an appointment, the Secretary of the Senate shall forward the rejection to the governor and request a new individual be appointed.
Okay, we heard the amendment. Any questions or comments?
I offer that amendment. Make a motion to accept.
Okay, we have a motion. Any, yes, ma'am. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We're on 169 as amended. Representative Kale, any other questions, comments? Okay, we have a motion.
We voting on this now?
Yes, sir. You ready? You need.
I just got a couple
Lawrence.
of questions. Well, one question in specific. Considering the comments that was made by one of the people that was in opposition of this particular bill, is there any specific reason why there's a provision here that make this bill retroactive?
Well, I'm not aware of who's on the board, first of all, so I don't know the people that are on the board, so there was nothing specific against any one person on the board.
Yes, I guess, but still my question would be, if we're going to pass this bill and put it into law, why does it have to be retroactive? Why couldn't it just, we pass it, remove this provision, repass it, and then move on to those people to serve out their term? I mean, if we're making it retroactive, it does seem like we're trying to remove someone that's currently on the board for whatever specific reason, race, ideologies, whatever the case may be. That's what it seems to me. I don't know if I'm the only one reading into that, but to me, that's what it seems like. I can understand restructuring the board, but for whatever reason, I think for me personally, I would have a problem with this bill just because of that provision is in there. Just my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Lawrence. Representative Lance?
Thank you. So we're only having one appointee from each of the congressional districts, is that right? Instead of two?
So the governor gets 8, pro tem gets 4, speaker gets 4, and if you look on pages 3 and 4, it lays those out there. And so, yes, the governor would have 7 for congressional districts, 1 at large, and then the remainder are at large. So it would give diversity across the state as far as location, and then the rest would be at large.
And what was the reason for moving from 2 per district to 1?
I think it gives flexibility to legislative leadership to pick the most qualified person, while still maintaining that we do recognize that we need to have, not one central location have all the picks.
And then, so the governor has a total of 8 now. I mean, 8 under this.
Yes.
As opposed to just.
Yes, and so it would be 8 for the governor, and as amended, those picks would undergo Senate confirmation.
Okay, follow.
But doesn't that still seem, it seems to me that's unusual for the governor to have that many picks. That's almost a majority.
I'm not sure that it's unusual. It's not a majority. It's half. So that
But
would
it's
be,
close.
Yeah. I don't know that it's unusual, but that's what we landed on: half legislative, half executive branch.
I guess I'm just not comfortable with that breakout there.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah, thank you. I'm following up too. I think we open the floodgates. The amendment does make it better. With any committee where you have the majority of the people being appointed by a person, we'll have control. That's just how it is. When I look at archives and we're going back, this should be something we look at as not with D's, not with R's, not with independence, but look at history as it was done or is going to be done. So we are, in my position, being retroactive is what gets me. It has to be some reason that you would want archives and history. I've dealt with them and still do, and have other things I like to be preserved. As I said, the amendment makes it better, but I do think this is opening up, as the old folks, my grandma was at the barnyard gate for start going. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
That's no for the bill.
Yes, ma'am.
And no.
No, we already passed the amendment, right? Okay, the bill passes as amended. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there next up? I'm gonna do 345 real quick. Committee, this is the same bill that we just had. I make a motion to give it a favorable report. This is the one about the codification.
Bill?
Yes.
I move to give the bill a favorable.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Bill passes. Okay, next up we're on HB 381. Representative Faulkner.
This is amendment to this.
Members, this bill, I'm honored to be in front of you. Y'all bear with me a little bit. This is the Sarah Marsh Heavens 27 Camp Safety Act. Most of you, most of our body signed on to this bill. That's in honor of Sarah Marsh, a little girl from my area that attends the elementary school by my house. And Sarah's mom, Jill, is here today. And I'm going to ask the chairman in a moment to let Jill Marsh, Sarah's mom, speak to you. At the end of June of last year, about 750 girls went to the all-girls camp in Texas, Camp Mystic. One of these was young Sarah Marsh from Alabama. In fact, she's the only member of Heavens 27 that's not from Texas. The Heavens 27 group of girls that lost their lives that tragic day on July 4th last year when those floods swept them away. They were between the ages of 8 and 10. Those parents trusted that basic safety systems would be in place when they took their, like we do, when we take our kids to camp. And what happened at Camp Mystic exposed dangerous gaps in how youth camps are regulated, monitored, and held accountable. These gaps exist not only in Texas, but in Alabama and across the country. Yet, in many states, camp safety regulations are minimal, inconsistently enforced, or outdated. At Camp Mystic, there was no effective emergency communication system. Self-service in the area was unreliable, and counselors were required to surrender their phones. There were no walkie-talkies, no intercoms, and no effective way to communicate evacuation instructions to each cabin. In the emergency, where minutes matter, the void left staff unable to coordinate a response and left counselors and campers without guidance. Even more alarming was the absence of a viable evacuation plan. Alabama sends thousands of children to in-state and out-of-state camps every year. Parents reasonably expect that camps that operate in our state or serving Alabama families meet rigorous safety standards. But many states, including Alabama, rely heavily on self-reporting, limited inspections, and vague emergency planning requirements. What this Sarah Marsh Heavens 27 Camp Safety Act does, members, and the bill that you've co-sponsored with me, is it brings common sense. Emergency preparedness licenses, we're going to require emergency preparedness licenses of our summer camps. We're going to have a public registry of licensed camps. The license will be by the Alabama Emergency Management Agency, and we're going to fund that for them to issue these licenses and do these inspections. Licenses will be valid for 5 years and must be updated if a camp changes its boundaries or adds new cabins. It's going to require emergency action planning. Camps will be required to create and update annual emergency plans that cover flooding, evacuation, and shelter-in-place plans, zones for gathering in case of emergencies, communication plans with parents, mandatory safety systems, an NOAA weather radio, notification protocol to communicate with staff when cell service isn't there, camp-wide alarms that are audible both indoors and outdoors, required safety training and drills, prohibition of cabins in flood zones, and staff background checks. Members, let me say this about our camps in Alabama. We have great camps in Alabama. I attended camps in Alabama. My children attended these camps, and they've been nothing but great. And I want to thank them for working with me on this bill, especially Rob Hammond and Alan McBride, and then Kim Adams with the Camp Association, the lobbyists for them. They've worked with me a lot on this bill. We do have great camps, and they are doing good things. But we need to make sure that we need to have this as a requirement so that people can make sure what they're doing is safe. And that's the point of this bill. Even if you're already doing this, like most of our great camps are, the things we put in this bill, don't you want to know that what you're doing is good? You know, and is the right thing to do? So that's what this bill's about. And I don't want to insinuate that we have bad camps, that we're doing bad things. We don't. Not to my knowledge. Our camps are good camps. But we want to make sure, and that's what Sarah's legacy is going to be, is that we make camps safer, so for more children than potentially, and Sarah's legacy will be that she saves lives. She saves other children's lives. And I'm going to ask, I will talk about the bill in an amendment to the bill in a moment. But Mr. Chairman, would this be a good time to bring up Jill Marsh? Or would you rather me talk about the amendment?
Okay, yeah, I would like to offer the amendment, but what we're going to do is let Representative Faulkner explain it.
Yes, yes. And members, let me apologize to you.
Yes.
You just got this amendment, so I'm sorry. And you're like, David, it's hard putting an amendment in conjunction with a bill. Why didn't you just do what you have in front of you? We were trying to make sure that we covered the definition of camps. And we were excluding residents at an educational institution. That's right out the bat on your first page. Then we were defining what is a camp operator. And we wanted to make it clear what a camp operator was and who's not a camp operator. Pretty simple. That takes you over onto page 2 down to about the middle of that page where you see who is not a camp operator. Or those first 3 lines right there. Then we've got at the bottom there, we have about the camps expanding in a floodplain and what the provisions are if that changes, and if a floodplain changes, or if you get FEMA does a change to that, what you need to be able to show in addition to that to be able to get your license. Again, that's all applying to cabins that may be in a floodplain. And then at the bottom of page 3, we changed that here's why we did this. We were talking about emergency response plans being given to parents of campers. That's still in here. But we had a provision that you could give your emergency response plans to prospective campers. What we've done is we took that out and said, if you're not registered in the camp, then you can get the certification. You can get their license that they have met and got the emergency preparedness license. But then once you become a camper, you can actually get the emergency plan. So we made that brief change. Camp operator, just here we had that they've been subjected to criminal background checks there on page 4. This is, members, is on page 4, is that if you lease a camp, if you go up and lease a camp, you have an obligation to be familiar with the emergency plans of that camp. So this is what we were doing. We were making it clear who's a camp operator, who's not. So if you're somebody that leases a camp and you have kids for the week and you're the one responsible for those kids, then this is what page 4 is about. It's telling you that you agree that your staff members supplied shall familiarize themselves with camp operation emergency procedures. So that gets you into page 5. And I think we were just clearing up some language there, emergency managers. And then we added a representative from the YMCA to the advisory board. And we changed the language of Section 14, nothing in this act shall be interpreted to change any element of civil liability with respect to any possible claim against a camp. So that's what the amendment does. I know it's a little confusing. And again, my apologies.
Well, I know you've been working on the amendment right up to now, right? So thank you for that explanation. Do we have a second?
So moved.
Okay. Okay. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Okay. Any opposed? Okay. So we're on HB 381 as amended. If it's okay, I would like to vote it out before we bring the mother up. That's
Yes,
okay.
that'd be fine, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. We have motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, sir, this bill passes. Please bring the mother up.
And Mr. Chairman, I want to, before I bring Jill up, I want to thank Governor Ivey for her support issuing that statement. And she said this during her State of the State. She was going to help improve with her flood notification system, that she also wanted camps to be safe. So thank you to Governor Ivey for her support. She's issued her support of this bill. Speaker Ledbetter for co-sponsoring the bill, along with many of you. But I've got to also thank Emily Schultz. Emily has worked tirelessly with me on this bill. Emily is close personal friends with Jill. So we really have appreciated her time. Will Fuller has worked a lot with us to help with this bill. And there's others, but I just felt compelled I need to say that. And I want to thank Jill for giving me the honor to honor her young little girl.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And you know, we all want our children and the children of Alabama to be safe. So thank you for bringing the bill.
Jill?
And we'll try to get through this.
I have a few more pictures. Typical parent, right? Thank you for letting me be here. My name is Jill Marsh, and I'm going to make it through this. The greatest joy and honor of my life is getting to be John and Sarah's mom. Sarah was the most kind, welcoming, enthusiastic, and fun 8-year-old little girl you'd ever meet. If you had the privilege of knowing Sarah, she'd somehow make you feel like you were her favorite person in the world. She was curious, adventurous, loved meeting new people, trying new things. She loved Jesus and was eagerly growing in her faith. 8 months ago, Sarah was beyond excited to be going to camp for the first time. And she'd tell anybody she encountered about her upcoming adventure. You know, we'd be checking out at the grocery store and she would tell the clerk. 7 months and 7 days ago, Sarah died in a flood while at camp in Texas. Her body washed almost 20 miles downstream. She died along with 26 other precious daughters, sisters, and friends. Heaven's 27. They died because the camp wasn't prepared, because they weren't required to be. This camp was a well-respected Christian camp with almost a century of experience, yet they didn't even have safety measures. Their whole mission and livelihood hinges on being entrusted with other people's children. Yet we're all human, and often our sinful nature requires guardrails, laws to protect us, to protect others, and to uphold basic safety standards. As in Texas, we discovered that Alabama had no such guardrail requirements for our camps. While we hope and believe that most camps already have many of these measures in place, House Bill 381 will provide a standardized framework for Alabama camps to ensure that every camp meets common sense standards for prevention, detection, training, and response to natural disasters. If Texas had in place 8 months ago these measures that we're proposing that you all just passed, Sarah would still be alive. All 27 girls would be alive. So Alabama has the opportunity the information now to prevent future tragedies like what happened in Texas. We want all children who come to Alabama camps to enjoy the magic of summer camp. But that magic can only be fully realized if kids are safe. So thank you for helping us ensure that Sarah is not remembered by her death, but by her incredible, beautiful life, and that her legacy will help keep children and the joyful experiences of childhood at camp safe. Thank you.
Thank you. You will be in our thoughts and our prayers. Okay. Next up, we're going to have a public hearing on HB 25. If there's anyone in here that don't care for that, you can leave if you like.
No, she won't. The mother won't. They want those pictures back.
The mother want the pictures back.
She want those pictures back. Or?
Yeah, she want it back.
Okay, we're gonna have a public hearing. First off, I'm on the representative to Butler, start HB 25.
Oh.
Sorry, sir, you had to follow that. It's gonna be tough.
Man, yeah, as a parent, that is tough.
Tough.
But thank you, Mr. Chair and members. HB 25 is a bill that some of our neighbors recently passed. Florida, Tennessee, Louisiana have passed something very similar to this, and over 30 states have introduced similar legislation. And what this bill does, it's a prohibition on intentional disbursement of chemicals or compounds for the purpose of modifying the weather or solar reflection. We learned years ago that when a volcano ash would erupt and the ash would go up, it created a cloud effect and a tremendous cooling of the earth. And you can look at multiple websites. Bill Gates has admitted to funding solar reflection and geoengineering. DARPA, it says on their website that, they're, if you Google this, that they are doing geoengineering testing, but not widespread. But there is something going on. One of the biggest concerns that was brought to my attention, actually a couple of years ago, is our bees. Our bees are dying. You're going to hear from some medical doctors here soon of what they've learned it is. As I understand, it's Alzheimer's, that the bee from the aluminum can literally not get back, find its way to the hive. I recently, Dr. Roberts educated me on the blood-brain barrier. That I'd heard of it, didn't know what it was. But that's something God put in place to protect us. But these nanoparticles are so small, they actually cross the blood-brain barrier. And this legislation would prohibit it, set it up as a Class B misdemeanor, and not to exceed a $100,000 fine. It would set up an air pollution control fund that would be administered, overseen by ADEM. And the funds any funds collected would be used for the purpose of fighting pollution. And that is it in a nutshell. And I think at the public hearing, you'll hear from some people a lot more educated about this than I am, that could answer a lot of questions you may have. And one thing I tell people, because a lot of people say this is not happening, and I go, well, what harm would it do to make it illegal than if it's not happening? But the skies of my youth are much different than the skies of today.
Right. Okay. We'll go into the public hearing now. And what I'm going to ask is that the one of you that might know the most about this, or I'm sure y'all know a lot about it, I'm going to give one of y'all extended amount of time to really explain what we're going to do. Okay, what the situation. What we want to avoid is hearing the same 2 or 3 minutes out of everybody. So I want to let somebody get up here and make a pretty deep dive into this. Okay. You don't have to use that.
Chairman and committee members, I'm Dr. Rick Roberts, a retired vascular surgeon and chemical engineer. Worked in the Huntsville area for 31 years. First of all, geoengineering trails are not condensate, as claimed by the media and some federal authorities. This has been confirmed by several retired military experts, including retired Brigadier General Charles Jones, who states that these trails are being sprayed by the military. These trails remain visible from one end of the sky to the other, have a crisscrossing pattern, turn off and on, and settle to ground level. Dane Wigington and a geomicrobiologist using a flying laboratory to take air samples above, within, and below the trails found their analyzed samples to contain mostly aluminum. But there's a lot of speculation that the Texas flood that we just talked about was caused by geoengineering. And so they're doing this without our informed consent. We know that aluminum is toxic, and we're having to breathe it because we have to breathe. So it's not informed consent, which is against the Nuremberg Code. So I think that they're spraying it for weather manipulation, but also I can't say that they know it's toxic.
And that's what's scary. Okay, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Okay. I'm sorry, Representative Lance, you have a question?
I did. When you said they, who do you mean by they?
Well, it's somewhat hidden, but two experts with the retired military said that the military is doing it. A portion of our military, not everybody is in the military, of course, but there are certain parts. I think Representative Butler mentioned DARPA, which is a very small portion of the military that does a lot of research. I think that they did a lot of research on the C-19 vaccine. These people can do this apparently using wartime exemption, without having to even report it to the EPA. So it's like Megan Edwards said, she works her hard all day long to try to protect the planet and people, and they turn around and just destroy it.
And do we have any evidence?
Yes, I was reading pretty fast, but they actually took a plane and went up into the air and took samples above and below the trails, and they found it was mostly aluminum nanoparticles. And the fact that they're so small is what makes it just change everything. Because when you take a breath, you can't not breathe, and you can't filter them out. And so they just go straight into your lungs. They're so small, they go straight into your bloodstream, and they go to all your organs. And I think Dr. Calder was going to talk about the toxicity.
Well, if I may, I'm assuming the size of them, because the smaller they are, the longer they'll stay there, right? The bigger they are, the quicker they'll fall.
Right, and the idea is to try to reflect the sun's heat back up into the atmosphere to prevent global warming. The problem is they're showing that it's increasing the diminution of our ozone layer, so it's actually increasing global warming. It's getting the opposite effect. They're experimenting, doing what they think is best for everybody, but it's using toxic things that is damaging all of them.
And I apologize for us just having, but this is a learning session. That's what this is. Okay, sir, go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Ted Holly. I'm from Prattville. Thank you all, most important, for serving the state. I am a resident. I'm also a retired military officer of 24 years. I have degrees in mechanical engineering from Auburn and a master's degree of aeronautical engineering from the Air Force Institute of Technology. I've worked with jet engines, I've worked with air-to-air missiles, and I want to tell you, the gentleman is correct. I have watched the weather cloud seeding in Texas, and it happened right before Camp Mystic. And yes, it breaks my heart, but yes, that 500-year flood was a result of cloud seeding in Texas. And this can happen to our camp too. But let me say, aside from 100,000, I say make it 500,000. Be like our neighbors in Florida. If an airplane lands or uses an airport for any of this, it needs to be reported. You say, does this happen locally? Yes, it happens in Montgomery. 2 weeks ago, my son and I watched the sky filled with these crosshatches. In fact, yesterday, if you looked up at the sky, guess what? You would see it full of chemtrails. And these planes, my son watched firsthand, eye to eye, landing at Montgomery Regional Airport. It is real. Not only that, we talked about that. It goes back a long way. Vietnam War, 1970, Project Popeye, what was that? They cloud seeded the North Viet Cong to increase the intensity of the monsoons. The military has been doing it for decades. We talked about Texas. The doctor talked about there's between a contrail and a chemtrail. A contrail, if you go outside on a cold Alabama day and, do your breath, you see it. That's a contrail. If you see an airplane in the sky and it lingers just a few seconds, that's a contrail. When they crisscross the sky like spaghetti and hashtags and all that, that is chemtrailing. as you said, not only is it for global climate change, which isn't real, they also do silver iodine in clouds for cloud seeding. All of this is very, very dangerous because we can't control it. Besides that, it's unhealthy. What did our Secretary of Health and Human Services just do? Outlawed aluminum in vaccines. It causes problems. It causes autism. Every time they spray, I get a headache. Just like looking on your watch. Oh, why do I have a headache today, Ted? Because I've been spraying. It's also bad for economy. Bad for our economy. Not only is it for our crops and for our bees, it's for our wildlife, the squirrels, the deer, the beavers, so on and so forth. It's bad for our fish. It gets in the water. It's bad for anything. The economic impact is unreal. And I would like to say this is not a Democratic, Republican, independent bill. This is an everybody bill. Not only that, it's all wildlife bill. It affects us all. We don't have a choice. You breathe it, I breathe it, they breathe it.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
But take a look at this handout. Watch the video, the dimming, and it'll tell you everything you need to know.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I'm Dr. David Calderwood, a semi-retired emergency medicine and family physician from Huntsville. I am the leader of Concerned Doctors, a group of practitioners who learned how to treat COVID with ivermectin and other repurposed drugs and supplements. I get emotional. Sorry. We collectively treated thousands of COVID patients and lost almost no one. I agree with Dr. Roberts and what has been said. I bring to your attention an article entitled Toxic Effects of Aluminum Nanoparticles, which was published in a peer-reviewed journal in nanotoxicology just last June. I quote, inhalation exposure to aluminum nanoparticles induces lung damage, liver damage, neurotoxicity, genotoxicity, and systemic inflammation. Did that register? These nanoparticles damage our lungs, our liver, our genes, and our nervous system, as well as generalized inflammation. So this is no little thing. This is huge. It adversely affects everybody's health in this room. I have recently had my levels of aluminum tested, and they are close to the toxic range. Everyone in this room probably has near toxic range levels of aluminum. One neurologist, Dr. Habib Rabi, has stated that over the past 5 years, he has seen the number of patients with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other degenerative neurologic diseases increase tremendously, almost quadrupled. That's not just from the nanoparticles, but it's from other things in the environment, but that is the elephant in the room. This is huge. It's affecting, as mentioned, the insects. Professor Simon Potts, Professor of Biodiversity, said that there is definitely an increase in bee extinction, and our pollinators are coming close to extinction. If we don't do anything, we will not have any pollinators. I urge you, for the sake of the planet, for the sake of us as humans, and for our health and our families, to pass HB 25. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I was want to add, my mother used to work with Alzheimer's patients and attended multiple autopsies, and every single one of them had aluminum deposits in the brain. We're seeing Alzheimer's, just record numbers of it. But even recently, a lot of the experts are saying the wildfires that happened in California were tied to this. It was something with dehydration, something they could explain it way better than I. But anyway, I would ask you for a favorable report.
Okay, I think we have one more speaker. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, be brief if you can.
Yes, sir, I will. My name's Barry Ford. I'm from Dothan, Alabama. I'm not an expert witness, but I am a witness and a concerned citizen. I was first made aware of chemtrailing about 30 years ago, and I've been all over the country, and I've seen it all over the country. And it's very prolific in Alabama. You know, and I think there was an incident with Saudi where they did this in Saudi Arabia a few years ago, and it caused like a 1,000-year flood. And the Saudi government actually ended up admitting to it and apologizing to his people for it. But House Bill 25 gives us a wonderful opportunity to end this practice that's making people sick and is contaminating our soil and water. Please vote yes, HB 25.
Okay, thank you.
One last thing, if you may remember, Starfish Prime Fishbowl, where our government detonated nuclear bombs, about 250 miles up in space and in the ocean, and I don't think any of us were made aware of that. It was back in the 60s. But I would ask you for a favorable report.
Okay, do we have any comments, questions? Representative Lance?
Thank you. I just need to say I feel like I need a lot more information on this. I just did a quick search on Geoengineering Watch, and it says it is not based on legitimate science and conflicts with established atmospheric science, lacks empirical support, and is contradicted by reputed scientific instruments. So I just, it says many of its images have been distorted and misinterpreted. It's based on speculation. No recognizable scientific institutes back their claims. And I'm just reading this now. So I just have to say I'm skeptical and need to know more before I could vote on this.
Yeah, and I could tell you the company Rainmaker believes in it. They've called me multiple times wanting us not to pass this legislation. You've saw the CEO from.
I did. That's who I'm looking up.
Yep.
Yep.
And if you look through there and look at the quotes and everything, it is, and go to the website itself instead of the AI people giving you their version of it.
I'm looking at science and what the National Geological Society says.
Yeah, and of course they're not going to admit to it. It's well documented on here. All the documents, the official Army documents, etc. Not on the website. It's very well documented. Believe me. And because it is, and it's so harmful, they're going to hide it every way they can, and they are.
It's on the NOAA website and a lot of governmental websites. There's patents, LBJ, talked about controlling the weather. I mean, there's a lot there. If you look, and it's back to my point before, if they're not doing it, what harm is it to make it illegal? If they're not, just like saying, on anything else.
How's it going to stop them?
Well, it's going to take all the states in order to, the majority of the states to actually send a message.
Mr. Chairman.
We're in charge.
In this particular bill, it makes it illegal for pilots to do it. So it makes it Class 3 misdemeanor. So that's what they did in Florida. What we want to do here is make it illegal for the pilots to do it. And if the pilots can't do it, it won't be sprayed.
Okay, thank you for the comment, sir. Representative Lawrence.
I'd like to move to get a bill of favorable report.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so your bill passes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the meeting. We are adjourned. Thank you.